Hello, it's Uncle from TacticalGamer.com here. I just wanted to go over some stuff today about some tools to help with collaboration. So, one of the ones I wanted to start off with is placing comments. I'm going to collaborate with another mission maker, and I want to give some instructions, and comments are a great way of doing that. I can label this as the rifle range, which is going to have a small squad here that will be defending this location. And so I just wanted to indicate what's going on to the other editor. And I can then share this file, mission file, with him, and he can get started on doing a fortification around this location. This would be the armory here, where anybody doing training on the range would come here to get the rifles, that sort of thing. That's the basic premise of what this area is supposed to be set up to do. Pardon me. Anyway, so I'm just placing these comments to help that other editor. This is actually a sector control scenario. So he's going to have to, I sent him in TeamSpeak the coordinates and the radius of the sector, which he then placed a trigger in his editor and just started creating a composition without needing to know anything more. He didn't actually have the comments, but comments are a useful tool when you are collaborating and sharing files. So as you can see, I'm going to open up his file that he'd sent me back, and you can see that there's a trigger in the middle of this, and you can see all the custom fortifications that he built. So while I was working on doing some scripting stuff, DMZ Scout from TacticalGamer.com, he's also in the 189th with some friends of mine, and 189th is an in-house squad within Tactical Gamer. Anywho, so he was working on this, was very generous with his time, and so what I'm going to do is basically copy all these objects. That's right, but I don't want to copy the trigger that he placed, so he knew where the sector control zone was. So I'll just zoom in, make sure I select just the trigger and delete it before I copy all these objects. And this is great. The copy and then paste on original position function works even when you load up a separate file. This is what makes collaboration now so much easier with the Eden editor. Thank you, Bohemia, for these tools. It's awesome. So I'm just going to copy from the edit menu. I could just go Control C is what I usually do, but you can't see when I do Control C, so I'll use these options, on-screen options, when I'm doing video tutorials. So I go back to the tutorial file that we had created earlier. Right, I'm just going to right-click on the map and choose Paste on, or Edit, and then Paste on Original Position. And then, bam, everything is exactly in place. It is just so incredible. I'm going to throw the camera down, take a good quick look around. So he just sent me the mission SQM file. Actually zipped it up as a mission because it's so much easier to open up in the editor when you send the entire thing as a PBO and an entirely zipped up mission to work within the editor. Okay, so that is another way of doing a collaboration. Another way, or I'm going to go into the actual mission that I created this for. It wasn't a co-op mission. There was no AI placed in this mission, but it was a team versus team scenario. So this allowed us, Scout did, this was the Charlie checkpoint. He also did the Delta checkpoint. I had been working on the, you can see there the sector. So it was the exact same radius and the exact same position. So that's how he knew how to add that up. You can see that I added the some stuff on the top of the buildings, some hiding spots, created the actual arsenal building. That was in here. I think in one of my previous tutorials I mentioned that I built some custom compositions for doing these weapons racks. So I got some placement issues to tweak up a little bit there. But let's see how we can use maybe custom compositions in a second here, when they give you an idea how much using the collaboration gives you the time to do this kind of ambient kind of stuff created some really interesting areas for players to fight over by using vehicles and fortifications and all that sort of stuff to obstruct sight lines and create some nice cover and concealment to be able to move through. Like this is the Bravo checkpoint that I created, which is on the airfield. Lots of objects to move around. I think it'd be a very interesting fight for players to get into, and we've had a couple of tests so far, but we haven't really run the mission on a full scale yet. But you can see some of the ambient stuff that we were able to spend some time doing, because when you're working on a mission by yourself, you don't end up getting into this level of detail. But when you can collaborate, it gives you the time to be able to do some placements and stuff like that. While one person's working on scripting, like I said, somebody else can be doing something else. Anyway, back to the compositions as a way of collaborating. You can see that I created a custom composition to put down the markers that we use for tactical gamers, just to let people know where they can join us on TeamSpeak, a little bit about finding our rules, and a little bit about what we're about. So, creating that custom composition makes it easy for me to grab those objects and place them at any time in any mission very quickly. You can see here I just sped this up 500%. In the editor, as I just create another little composition just as a way of demonstrating how easy it is then, once you've spent all this time creating compositions, to then place them. You can see how long it takes to build this right from scratch. Like I say, this is sped up at least 5 times. Creating a nice little base, a little spot for a security entrance there, a tower for some height, maybe a helicopter landing pad, and a grass cutter so the grass is cut around the pad. Add in a little guard tower, some more buildings, something for power generation, and then using the editor is great to be able to use the search function in objects, and I'm just searching through the military objects looking for something else just to add some more ambience to the site. And obviously I would want to give an indication of the entrance into there. Didn't really like the road. I'd run a dirt path, but I wasn't going to get too fussy, seeing as this is a tutorial. So I'll just create a little path in there. This is using the Cups Terrains object, so if you're editing for pure vanilla, you won't have those road options, I believe, but using the Cups Terrain stuff gives you some really nice options for building roads and stuff. So I would just select all those objects, save as a custom composition, name it something like a medium outpost, and I had an H pad in there for a helicopter pad. Okay, and then you can save it, but you can see, I don't know if you can see, my videos seem to be clipped down the bottom of the editor. There is a button that's grayed out at the moment where you can then save your custom composition to the Steam Workshop. And this function is not yet working. It's down there on the lower right side, just on the left side of the right bar. And so in the meantime, we're going to have to go, you can save it. It's an SQE file that's saved under your profile name under Arma 3 other profiles. And there's a compositions folder there, and we can just copy those files, send them to your buddy. He can put them in his compositions folder and then use them in his editor as well. Just another tool of collaboration. So here I am placing the composition I just made in another area of the map. You can see how easy it is just to place it down, rotate it around, adjust its placement, and you've got another outpost. These compositions are a great time saver. Obviously from there you could edit it. So here I am in my Arma 3 other profiles folder under my profile name. I've got the compositions folder, and I can scroll down and find the composition I just made, which was medium outpost heli or something like that. And I'm just going to right click on it and zip it up with 7-zip, right? And take that file, send it to my buddy, and he'll unzip it, place the folder back in his compositions folder, and he will be good to go to help collaborate with editing. This is Uncle from tacticalgamer.com. Subscribe and come on back and leave comments. Thanks a lot.